What's going on, people? My name is Antoine, this is ATM Tech, and welcome to the channel. So I've got the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE here, and everyone seems absolutely love this phone. They rave on about it. I've actually had this phone for about 6 months and it just sat in my drawer. But with rumors about the S21 FE being just around the corner, I figured let's take a look and find out what makes the S20 FE so great. It was even voted Phone of the Year by MKBHD, so it must be good, right? So I took this phone out of my drawer, wiped it down, put my SIM card in there, and took it out for an extended test drive. After using the phone for about a week or so, these were the main conclusions that I came to. So the first thing I noticed is that this phone is fast. And that's kind of expected given that it has a Snapdragon 865 processor, but just through day-to-day, everyday use, this phone did not miss a beat even once. Now I'm from the UK where the rest of the S20 range uses the Exynos 990 processor, so the fact that they decided to put the 865 Snapdragon in the S20 FE does kind of beg the question why they can't just do that for all of their flagship phones. Now don't get me wrong, there wasn't a significant performance difference. To be honest, there wasn't any difference in performance that I noticed at all, but inevitably it is a talking point every single year, and there doesn't seem to be any consistency as to why they choose to use each processor. As someone who is a big fan of Samsung, it is kind of annoying having to defend the Exynos processor, even though for the most part there's nothing wrong with them. The next thing that stood out for me is that big beautiful 120Hz display. Now I feel like a bit of a broken record lately when it comes to how often I've been talking about 120Hz displays, but Samsung were a bit late to the party, so it's nice to see them including it in more and more of their phones. It's a 6.5 inch Super AMOLED display, and I think 6.5 inches is that sweet spot for most people where it's a nice big display but without being too big, wieldy and just hefty. Now although the display is 120Hz, it's not variable, so it is stuck at 120Hz all the time. So for the most part, when it's variable or not variable, you don't really see the difference. Now that does kind of bring me on to my next point, which is battery life. The battery life on this phone is brilliant. Now I would say a big part of that is down to the fact that the display is just 1080p, but it also has a nice big 4500 milliamp battery, which just keeps the phone churning along hour after hour. I'm easily able to get into the next day without any issues. Now I do tend to charge my phone every day anyway, and this phone does support 25 watts charging, which is a nice plus. Now it's not silly fast charging like the likes of OnePlus, Oppo or even Xiaomi, but I do get over 50% in just over half an hour, which is more than enough for those times where you do forget to charge your phone. And then my final thing to point out about the S20 FE is the fact that it's also water resistant. Not a big deal, it's IP68 water resistant, but it is something worth mentioning. So when you go back and take a look at all the things that I've just pointed out about this phone, none of them are really special, none of them are really that standout. Now I think the thing that makes this phone a winner and why it's so highly regarded by the tech community is its price. Over the years, the prices of Samsung flagships have crept up slowly but surely to the point where the top flagships are inaccessible for a lot of people. So the S20 FE exists to be that phone with flagship features for a non-flagship price, which really is a first for Samsung. So the S20 FE starts at $599 for a 4G version and $699 for a 5G version. Now don't get me wrong, that's still a lot of money, but when you consider the flagship features that is taken out of the S20 range, the fast processor, the high refresh rate, the water resistance, the excellent battery life, these are all things that you do expect to get in flagship phones. So usually when you pay less, there are some compromises, and those are the types of features that are compromised. Now don't get me wrong, obviously Samsung had to cut corners somewhere, and there are some slight compromises. If you are curious, it has a plastic body, the display is only 1080p, and it's not quite a flagship camera. It's a very good camera, it's just not flagship level. These are areas that Samsung can cut back on, make significant savings, and still deliver a almost flagship experience. So to draw in a conclusion, I think Samsung have been really smart with the S20 FE. There are definitely competitors out there at a similar price range that on paper can deliver more, but the S20 FE delivers just enough with the added bonus of having a Samsung badge on the back, which for a lot of people is important. So would I recommend this phone? Absolutely. If you're someone that's always bought flagships over the years but you're just getting fed up with flagship prices, then the S20 FE is definitely for you. Or if you've always bought phones in the middle of the market and you just want to take a step up in quality but you don't want to take a huge leap in price, again the S20 FE is for you. I think the only thing I'm disappointed is the fact that I let this sit in my drawer for so long. It's a great phone. But anyway, that's enough from me. If you were thinking about buying this phone, just do it. Just do it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you could leave a like down below, that's always appreciated. And if you feel like being kind and subscribing, well, that's nice too. And if you don't, then don't worry about it. But anyway, I'm talking too long. Catch you in the next video. Peace.